Alright guys, continuing on my discussion with books, magazines, and resources for bushcraft and gaining more knowledge. One that I'm sure most are familiar with because it is a bestseller. And most of us in the bushcraft community are quite familiar with the Pathfinder School and Dave Canterbury. So I have both his Bushcraft 101 and his Advanced Bushcraft. These are again great resources. They are a rugged kind of design. They are paper. It's not coated like the SAS. The outer pages, but it's not made like it says field guide, but I don't think it's really made like a field guide, because if you were to throw this in your pack, these pages could get damaged a little bit. Maybe my one complaint, if there is any, the size of the book is fine when it comes to throwing it in the back. It's not real heavy, and just the pages don't have any kind of waterproof type coating. It's not like a write in rain type page. It's just regular paper. There is a wealth of knowledge within here. Bushcraft 101 focuses a lot on building a kit and going out into the woods to explore. Talks about building shelter, building fire, trapping, some really good basics, and gives some really good pictures. A lot of these skills that are in here, Dave Canterbury teaches at his school, and he's done a lot of videos on a lot of these things. But one thing I have to really appreciate in here is that it's not just fully focused on just complete survival. It is bushcraft. So say like real quick here, you can see this little debris shelter you see over here. Shows you a good picture on the ribs and covering it with the debris. But then later on in the book, when he's talking about trapping and things like that, he goes into even modern trapping and using things like 110s and let's see, we got a 110 and then a let's see what this other one is, a foothold type trap. And so there's pictures and documents on how to use that. Now none of the pictures are colored pictures, which isn't that big deal because nothing in here talks about wild edibles. He focuses a lot on gear and crafting a lot of your gear, carrying the proper tools with you to be able to make your own tools. Talks about using different tools safely and properly, not making. Talks about building your own types of stoves, wind blocks, plenty of shelters, and one thing also is there are recipes in the back of the book. I'm going to see right here, bushcraft recipes, and talks about different recipes you can use wild game for. So that is a great resource as well. So to complement that Bushcraft 101, he came out with the Advanced Bushcraft, which does discuss a little bit more challenging type things. It's not just going out and doing some basic survival. It talks about building upon your kit, even in your clothing. It talks about recognizing the trees and the uses of the trees for their natural resources. Talks about their recognizing the pine needles to know what tree it is, or the leaf or the bark, and how you can use that. Talks about anvils, stump anvils and throwing sticks, different kinds of dyes and flowers and preserving food, and it goes into more detail on primitive trapping and different methods of primitive trapping, net making, looms, stuff like this that we've seen him do on his videos, weaving, stuff like that. Again, with these books, similar to the SAS Survival, is that you might only have one or two pictures for the diagram because they can't make the whole book full of pictures. That would be nice and easy for us visual learners, but they also have to have the words in there to give you something to chew on. So again, it may have just a couple of pictures on how the what you're building is supposed to look like, but it may not show multiple pictures and how to use that. I found that specifically in here in one of his Bushcraft looms for weaving like a door or a grass mat. It has the picture of what it's supposed to look like, and it talks about using it, but it doesn't show multiple pictures and the steps of using the loom, which would have been more beneficial to me, but the words are sufficient. So again, I think these are great resources to throw in your kit, gain more knowledge, keep at house, or throw in your backpack every now and then when you go out. You know, this is one that maybe we should be reading before you head out and preparing for it a little better, but you can throw these things in your pack and while you're sitting around the campfire, or you got camp established to check out. So just wanted to show you these resources. Do a quick shout out, I guess I could say, to Dave Canterbury, and tell you to go check out his books. They're well worth the investment. Alright guys, hope that's helped you. Thanks for watching. God bless.